Hello to all my fellow 40-somethings. I'm Bernd, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the Great 40s, a place where we celebrate the dynamic and rewarding journey of life in our 40s. For decades, I lived chasing other people's definitions of success. The career milestones, the relationship timelines, the material acquisitions that were supposed to signal I'd made it. Sound familiar? Society bombards us with shoulds from the moment we can comprehend language. You should own a home by 30. You should be at a certain level in your career by 35. You should have your retirement fully funded, your body in peak condition, your relationships picture perfect. These expectations don't just come from society at large. They come from well-meaning family members, friends who unconsciously project their own fears, and the incessant social media parade of curated lives. By the time you hit 40, you've likely spent far too much energy trying to meet these external benchmarks, only to find they didn't deliver the promised fulfillment. The truth? The 40s are prime time for what I call the great expectation detox, the deliberate shedding of shoulds that never truly belonged to you in the first place. So how do you start building a life based on personal values instead of inherited expectations? It begins with an honest inventory. What actually matters to you, not what's supposed to matter. For me, this process involved some uncomfortable realizations. I'd spent years climbing a corporate ladder I didn't particularly want to be on, because career advancement was what successful people did. Meanwhile, I'd neglected my deep-seated desire for creative work and community involvement. Neither of these pursuits came with impressive titles or financial rewards, but they consistently brought me a sense of purpose and joy that no promotion ever could. Your values might look completely different. Perhaps you genuinely thrive in corporate environments but have denied yourself the pleasure of investing in that career because your family valued entrepreneurship instead. Maybe you've avoided pursuing education later in life because you've internalized the idea that learning belongs to the young. Values aren't just about work either. They touch every aspect of life. Relationships, parenting approaches, financial decisions, lifestyle choices, and how you spend your fleeting free time. The question becomes, if no one were watching, judging, or commenting, what choices would you make? Here's the uncomfortable truth about aligning with your values. You will disappoint people, guaranteed. When you stop living according to external expectations, you disrupt the comfortable patterns others have come to expect from you. The colleague who always counted on you to take on extra work will be disappointed when you enforce boundaries. The parent who expected grandchildren might struggle when you choose a different path. The friends who define success by material acquisitions might not understand when you downsize for greater freedom. In your 40s, you develop what I call the courage to disappoint, the ability to withstand the discomfort of others' reactions when your authentic choices don't align with their expectations for you. This isn't about being selfish or uncaring. It's about recognizing that living according to values that aren't yours serves no one in the long run. Moving from theory to practice requires actionable steps. Here's what living by your values actually looks like in your 40s. First, it means regular self-check-ins. I found that asking, does this choice align with what I value most, is far more useful than, what will others think about this decision? This applies to everything from how you structure your workday to the relationships you invest in. Second, it means decluttering your life of activities, obligations, and even relationships that don't reflect your core values. This isn't always about dramatic exits. Sometimes it's simply about gradual shifts in how much time and energy you allocate to different aspects of your life. Third, it requires developing a healthy relationship with discomfort. Living according to your values isn't always comfortable, especially initially. There's the discomfort of disappointing others, as mentioned, but also the discomfort of trying new approaches and potentially failing at first. In my case, transitioning from a steady corporate role to more meaningful work involved financial uncertainty, identity challenges, and the awkwardness of being a beginner again. Was it uncomfortable? Absolutely. But the discomfort of authenticity is far more bearable than the pain of living against your nature indefinitely. Research consistently shows that end-of-life regrets rarely center on failing to meet society's expectations. Instead, people regret not having the courage to live authentically, not expressing their true feelings, staying in unfulfilling work, losing touch with friends, or neglecting their own happiness. Your 40s provide a perfect vantage point for course correction. You've likely accumulated some wisdom and resources, but still have plenty of runway ahead. This decade can be about reclaiming time and energy previously spent on others' benchmarks and redirecting them toward what genuinely matters to you. The result isn't just greater personal satisfaction, though that's certainly part of it. Living according to your values creates a ripple effect. Your authenticity gives others permission to examine their own lives more honestly. Your children, if you have them, learn to question inherited expectations rather than blindly following them. Your presence becomes more genuine in all your relationships. One common misconception about value-based living is that it requires dramatic all-or-nothing changes. This black and white thinking keeps many people stuck. The reality is more nuanced. Sometimes honoring your values means working within existing constraints while gradually shifting toward greater alignment. If financial stability is a genuine value for you, for instance, you might maintain your current job while carving out time for more meaningful pursuits or planning a thoughtful transition. The 40s teach you that life isn't a zero-sum game between responsibility and authenticity. The wisdom of this decade lies in finding creative ways to honor both. Creating a life based on personal values isn't a one-time decision, but an ongoing practice. Values evolve as we do. What matters most in your early 40s might shift as you approach 50. The difference now is that you're making conscious choices rather than defaulting to external scripts. I found that the most content people in their 40s aren't those who've achieved the most by conventional standards, but those who've aligned their daily lives with what they genuinely value. They might have less impressive LinkedIn profiles or Instagram feeds, but they possess something far more valuable: the quiet confidence that comes from living deliberately. The great promise of your 40s isn't that you'll finally have it all or achieve some idealized life. It's that you can finally stop chasing external validation and create something far more meaningful, a life that reflects who you actually are, not who you were told you should be. And that, I've found, is worth far more than meeting any expectation ever could be. Thanks for joining me on today's episode. I hope you found it valuable and entertaining. Don't forget to visit my website at great40s.com, where you can find matching articles to all episodes. If you're enjoying the podcast and want to support what I do, you will also find there very affordable subscription options that help keep this show going. Your support means everything to me. Take care and see you at the next episode of The Great 40s.